Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Elena.
Guten Morgen.
Let me start by taking us back about 10 years ago. You would remember that we were in the midst of the Euro crisis. The threat of Brexit in Greece was around. Berlusconi was taking hold in Italy. Viktor Orban and Erdogan were showing their true colors. So I was at the New York Times, and with my colleagues, we were observing these events, and we could see the rambling within democracy happening. And we thought, what is it that we can do as a media organization, other than reporting the news, to help democracy? So we went to the North Star of democracy, the ancient agora in Athens. So back to basics and ancient teachings, in order to debate and try and find out what the problems with democracy are and how to solve them. So the inspirational setting, but also on the other hand, some other events that happened subsequently, like the Brexit, the election of Modi, Trump, Bolsonaro, meant that things were getting worse, and our forum was growing to what it is today, a 5-day forum. And then about 4 years ago, we thought what we were doing was good. We were listening to a lot of experts. We were thinking, we were talking, but not much on the doing side. So we decided, in order to make the conference more consequential, we had to take it out of the commercial structure of the New York Times and build a non-profit around it. So the Democracy and Culture Foundation was born, established to further the work of Athens Democracy Forum on the one hand and Art for Tomorrow Culture on the other hand, two conferences that we founded at the New York Times, where we wanted to debate and come up with solutions for democracy. The mission of the Democracy and Culture Foundation is to help democracy evolve by empowering society through citizen engagement and better governance. So these two simple things, citizen engagement and better governance, which come out of this word democracy, is what we believe are the outcomes we need to deal with the pandemics of our time. And I'm not only talking about the pandemic of COVID or the senseless war in Ukraine, but there are other more important pandemics for democracy and long-lasting pandemics for democracy, like the cancer of inequality, the climate crisis, migration shifts and how that's impacting geopolitics, and the very fast pace of technology. And our institutions really can't cope with this fast pace of the info and biotech revolution. And these are the four thematic pillars in our foundation. So business, climate, migration, technology. We try to deal with these and to achieve our mission through a very simple impact chain. Quite simply, think, talk, do. So listen to what experts have to say and citizens, like all of us here in the room, and turn solutions into actions. This is what the foundation and the forum is designed to do, and we do that through roundtables and consultations that take place around the world, and then we report the outcomes back in Athens. We come up with policy recommendations in order to try and make democracy more resilient. One of our signature projects is Reimagining the Building Blocks of Democracy, where we've traveled around the world with blending experts and citizens in order to get more of a grassroots and a bottom-up and top-down approach in coming up with these policy recommendations. So, Elena, maybe you should tell us a little bit about building blocks.
So back in 2021, in the Athens Democracy Forum, in the midst of a COVID crisis, our international speakers and delegates told us, enough with the problems. We heard about fake news, we know all about populism and authoritarianism, just tell us how we can fix democracy. And this is where we found out, we worked and identified 5 functional parts of democracy. The power of the people, voting, the power of the executive, political parties / money / influence, and information and misinformation. And along with partners in different parts of the world, NGOs, important foundations, we started organizing a roundtable of experts, Sydney, Seoul, Berlin, Tel Aviv, and Washington. This was the first round last year, and we came up with very concrete policy recommendations. Athens Democracy Forum 2022. Our international speakers and delegates told us, very well, but you went in functional democracies. You have to go to the global south and where there are problems still in other democracies. So this year, and you have to implicate citizens, not only experts. So this year, we organize citizen-driven consultations, citizen assemblies, in Bogota, in Nairobi. Next week, I'm going in Prague. And we added also 2 other building blocks, the AI and ethics and business. So the aim of these roundtables and experts and the consultation is to come up with very concrete policy recommendations that will help democracy evolve. And I want to come with 2 very important examples. The one that came from Seoul is the 4th branch of government, where direct representation of randomly selected ordinary citizens for a limited term is implemented to start with from the local level, finding a way to involve the silent masses into decision-making. And of course, curb political influence and corporate interests. Another policy recommendation, of course I'm saying the big lines right now, we have come up with very, very concrete ways how we can implement them, is to make citizens' assemblies compulsory in each electorate, similar to the duty jury service. And I can tell you very briefly other policy recommendations that the citizens came up. They all have to do with education, civic engagement, and transparency. How to train the democratic muscle from the school. Put everything that has to do with democracy and democratic decision-making back to school. We have come up with several policy recommendations, and right now in September, in Athens Democracy Forum 2023, we will gather with all our partners from this 2-year experience in order to calibrate the findings and find ways to see how we can start implementing those recommendations, these policy recommendations, whether at the national level or international level. In case you are interested and you want to join us for this journey, we would be more than happy, and of course, maybe see you in Athens.
Thank you.